Hey guys, so we are back again with the conversation series. This time I'm here with my boy Jason, and I'm gonna let Jason introduce this week's topic. So have at it.
Well, this week's topic, I think it's going to be relationship based a lot in general.
Okay.
But it's about women who say they don't need men. So where it came from, I posted a Facebook status a while back saying how it puzzles me how women say that they don't need men, but then complain when they can't find a man. Because from my opinion, if you put out in the world that you don't need a man and you never need a man and you can do everything without a man, how is that supposed to attract a man to you? So, if you want me to give the analogy that you liked from Facebook that I think sparked me getting invited was the concept of...
I was going to invite you anyway, by the way.
Yeah,
continue.
true. If you look at it as you being a coach to a team, and if you're talking to your player before he goes in the game, and you go to him and you say, okay, look, I need you to go out there and play hard, but remember, I don't need you. I could call up any dude off the bench right now, and he can do just as good a job as you. As a matter of fact, I could go play myself and still win the game without you. If you said that to any player in any sport, if it was me, fine then. I don't really need to
right,
be
so
there.
I'm gonna fuck this D up for nothing.
Yeah, so at the end of the day, I feel that is kind of part of the problem. And something you and I sort of discussed while we were setting up for this is that it seems that it's only black women that predominantly say they don't need a man, which is kind of interesting. Because then when the media wants to downplay you guys, they point out that you guys get married later than everybody else, get married less frequently. I wonder if there's a correlation between always putting out in the universe you don't need a man and you can live without one and not finding one. So.
This is why I was going to invite you, because I know you can use your fucking words. Okay, so my commentary on the topic would be that I don't need a man, but I want a man. My thing is, I was raised to be autonomous. I was raised to be able to do things for myself, and not just to not need a man, but to not need anybody, to be able to, sustain on your own. You don't need anyone per se to do anything that you should be able to do as a core, fundamental part of being a fucking adult.
Yeah.
However, in terms of relationships, I don't ever want to need someone. I've always wanted to be wanted because I feel that I'd rather be a conscious decision. I never want to have a man that feels like he needs, at least I don't think. I am open-minded enough to believe in change. However, I can't really see myself wanting to be with someone that needs me because I want you to be a whole person on your own. I'm a whole person on my own. It's one thing to then meet someone that you feel like is very instrumental and plays a big role in your life, and then you decide that you don't want to have a life without that person, but I still feel like I wouldn't want someone to need me. I feel like a child needs an adult because they're incapable of doing for themselves. But in terms of, two grown adults, I'd rather you want to be with me. If you need to be with me, whether or not you're happy, you're going to still stay in that relationship. And then what's the point in being in a relationship where both of you are unhappy? So I desire more so to be wanted. This way, someone is consciously deciding to be with me over being with someone else. You want to be with me, so as opposed to, just up and making decisions on your own and up and taking a job that's going to move you to Tokyo or something like that. Not to say that you're going to give up a great job for me. That's not what I'm getting at. But I just finished watching Charmed, and that's part of.
Just think like a man too. That whole plot line in that too. Because that was their main.
Was that the one where Gabrielle Union and her?
The light skinned dude.
Oh wait, that was a totally different movie, wasn't it? Was it a different movie or was
No,
it?
same
No, it is the
movie,
same
yeah.
movie. Okay, so what was the thing?
Michael Early and whoever he was talking to.
Oh, Taraji, right?
Yeah,
And
that was their whole beef.
I thought he wanted the food truck though.
But remember in part 2, she like took a job across the country and it caused some sort of beef because
No, I don't
he
know.
thought she made the decision without him. But I saw the movie last night, so.
And there we have it.
Yeah. But I get your point,
Mm-hmm.
and I think what I was addressing is I know that women don't need men to function.
The same way I wouldn't want a man, like I'm saying, I don't want a man that needs a woman either. I want to be wanted because I never want to, either one of us, myself or my partner, to be in a relationship where we're unhappy, where you don't want to be here, I don't want to be here, but we fucking need each other. Like, well, I can't afford this mortgage or this rent on my own, so we're going to have to live together. Or I can't afford to pay my regular life,
Bills,
necessities because I'm dependent on a two household,
that makes sense.
Income household.
Where I think I was going with the status is that from what I watch some of my friends post on Facebook, it seems to me that the women who are constantly talking about what they don't need, that they don't need a man, seem to also have the greatest frequency of, oh, I can't find a good man, there's no man who, because I see, like, to me it puzzles me that women will say they don't need a man, and then one of the main complaints about men is that they don't offer you any sort of like emotional support. But you're leading into the same conversation, telling us that you don't need any support. So then when we show up and we're not really offering any support, anything other than anything physical, you're annoyed that I'm not trying to be there for you to help you advance through your life. Like, I understand it's a little bit of a stretch, and I completely get that the argument to it is that we're still just supposed to be genuinely nice people and not just completely ignore your needs because you claim you don't need it. I just find it to be a weird dynamic.
And I'm not going to sit here and say that women always make sense. I know I can be quite irrational. I can.
And like I said, in a perfect world, a guy would obviously genuinely care about you, so it would.
So you mean that they don't?
Well, in a perfect world, all guys would. But and a concept with it too is I think hearing women say it all the time is annoying. So you might actually annoy the guys who would be willing to give you that support.
But then that's on him, because if you're going to just take all of the friends that you follow on Facebook and let their chatter and their banter dictate the decisions you make in your life, you're just fucking stupid.
No, I'm not saying they're letting banter from someone else. I'm saying for those women who are letting that chatter be what they put out into the world. Like, if you as a woman, everything you always put out was, you don't need a man, you don't need a man, you don't need a man. If I was trying to talk to you, I would eventually get tired of hearing that argument all the time.
Of course.
So if I was that quality of guy...
Now, I think the difference is, if the person saying, I don't need a man, is now in a relationship and continuing those same conversations.
But
like those are the
it might be difficult to even get the relationship started, because think about it, if you were trying to talk to me and if every second or third conversation was about how every previous girl before me wasn't shit and how they made my life a living hell, eventually you're going to be like, yeah, but I'm in front of you and not making your life a living hell, so either shut the hell up or I'm going to go somewhere else with
someone. I'm not hearing this conversation. Yeah. But how true are people, now granted, I don't know what conversations you've had with women like off of Facebook, but in terms of me, I know I don't put everything on Facebook.
That's true.
Like, I'm not going to put my life story or all my, ills and qualms and problems online. So I couldn't see let's formulate this a little more. I'm wondering how much of Facebook
gets out
is
into the real
actually reflective of what's going on in people's lives. It's one thing to harp on something. My Facebook is generally reactions.
Yeah.
I like to repost things. I like to share videos and pictures, and then I'll put, this is how I feel about it, or this is just really funny, or whatever the case may be. I think that's more of my feed versus
how you
me
feel.
just expressing what's going on in my life, which happens, don't get me wrong, because my Instagram definitely feeds to my Facebook, and I may like expound upon that and explain that. Like I know one of the biggest things that I just did was I ended up getting a custom URL for a YouTube channel, which was a huge deal. And
congratulations, by the way.
But like that's like one of the, I don't want to say the rarities as if I never talk about myself, but a lot of people don't really discuss their own personal life. So you think that that could be
I think so too. That could be a part of it.
Character of the person.
Yeah. I'm just one of those people that I think part of the whole relationship thing, guys and girls, but I'll caveat that I kind of focus on what women do wrong because I don't date men, so I don't give a fuck what they're doing wrong when they're dating. But yeah, so that's my kind of take on it. It's just sort of the energy that you're putting out, because I think part of the relationship problem everyone has is that we kind of excuse ourselves from the problem. Because I'll say that about myself. I've dated some girls that if I look back on it, I should have known this shit wasn't gonna work. Because like, why the hell did, like, or even in a sense, like when guys talk about girls always wanting to focus on what you have and money, if all I put out is what I have.
Right.
If when I go to the club, I'm walking in the club with a $600 watch and driving a nice car, and that's what I'm putting out to you first. What am I going to attract first? I'm not saying every girl who approaches me is approaching me for what I have. But if that's what I'm putting out there in the world, then that's what I'm doing. But like, if I want to attract a different quality of woman and I have a problem with what I'm attracting, then I need to also reassess where I'm finding these people.
I agree, and then I disagree, because if you happen to be able to just afford, if you have a certain level of income, not to say that you may not like a $20 watch, but if you're making 80 grand a year, 100 grand a year, you can afford a $600 watch. You know what I mean? Like, that's just going to be within your grasp. That is, you know, not living above your means. And if you like it, you buy it. And even if you don't make 100 grand a year, if you can afford a $600 watch because you've just, you know, got disposable income, I don't feel as if you shouldn't be able to get the nice things that you want just because of the fear that someone's going to want you just for your nice things. The same way, as a woman, I shouldn't feel like I have to be careful of what I wear so I don't show my body off, so that I'm not attracting people that just want me for my body. Whereas, like, I physically am who I am. I look how I look. Those are going to be part of the fucking package. I mean, that's what the package comes in. So if I don't know, how can I put, like, if you're the type of, and then your car is your car.
Yeah. Like,
you can't just all of a sudden pull up in the jalopy just because you're going someplace nice and you don't want somebody to like you because of your nice car.
I get that. I'm just saying, like, we also have to assess that we play a role in
I guess it would be more so, like, if you're always on Instagram, like, if you're one of those assholes that's got, you know, like, the money fanned out and you got the pictures like this with your wrist up and just, if you're one of those flashy jerks, then
don't be mad.
Shorty only want me for this money right here. It's like, it's just what you're showing. Like, that, yes,
that,
in your real life, it's different.
That's what I'm saying. Because I'm saying, in the same breath, like, I have seen certain situations where I personally know for a fact, I've seen women post stuff about, oh, where are all the guys that have just hit you up to take you out on a date, blah, acting like they don't exist. You all need to put a little rephrasing on the topic. The dudes you want to date don't call you to really take you on dates.
Which is so true.
because like, to me, I just don't like the image that it puts off. Because
one of them's watching or something.
Because in all fairness, I could claim that no girl wants to date me, but that's false. If I wanted to be in a relationship, I could be in a relationship right now. It's the girls that I want to date don't want to date me.
Well, I don't know about everybody, but that's my truth as well. Like, I remember one dude, great dude. We were chilling, and I was being regular me, which can sometimes be a jerk. And he said something to me like, "That's why you're gonna be like old and single." Why? Because I don't want you? Like, so you think you're my only option? But now if I said that, I'd be even more of a jerk.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's just that maybe you're not the person I'm interested in. That doesn't mean that I'm always going to be alone or that I'm, you know, forever single just because.
I will say that I did go out with a friend of mine someplace, and she brought up a very good point that I respect, which I can even say I'm guilty of. I try not to be guilty of it anymore since I have heard the comment that guys who know that they're good guys sometimes automatically feel that they should get away with more nonsense because they are good guys, which I know I have justifiably been guilty of it because, but I can give you the guy's defense to it though, because from a guy's perspective, it does seem silly to me that you'll hold me and hold me with no job to a different standard. Like if you're talking to both of us and he only got to take you to McDonald's to get some attention, well, why the hell I got to take you to a 5-star restaurant? Because like that seems annoying to us, but then at the same time, I do know that there have been situations in which I've approached certain women on the concept of I'm better than the people you're currently talking to, so I should be able
to not do as much
to
for
not
you
do
because
as much
I have
because
other,
I have a lot.
I've got other weapons in my arsenal.
Yeah,
like I've got.
And like that's nonsense. I'll admit that's nonsense, but
I mean, I wouldn't go as far to say it's nonsense.
I mean,
everyone's got a certain standard of which they should treat you. But I think it's fair to expect from someone, for example, someone that has children, you realize that you can't monopolize all their time. Whereas someone that doesn't have children, well, what the fuck you mean you busy on a Friday night? What the fuck else you doing? Like, your job is over at 5. Why I can't see you at 7? Like, what are your other responsibilities? Granted, if there are other things in their lives, like if they're taking care of a parent, or if they have a side hustle, or if, you know, they just happen to volunteer, so there are plenty of other things that fall into the parameters of why it may be you can't spend time with a person. But
I also, like, I understand that, because I'm one of those guys that will admit that I'm a complete jerk to some people, and then I'm absolutely wonderful to other folks.
Me across the board to everybody.
Well, no, I think from a guy's perspective, and I had this conversation with a few women, like a few female friends of mine, that I think it really warrants on what you make me do. I'm a big fan of the movies Pirates of the Caribbean, right? Because I think whoever wrote them, they were very well written movies. There's a lot of gems written in the movies. And in one of the fight scenes between Jack Sparrow and Orlando Bloom's character, I forgot his name.
For a second, I thought they was the same person. I thought Orlando Bloom was Jack Sparrow, but it's actually Johnny Depp, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I know a few things.
When they were getting into a fight, he accused Johnny Depp's character, Jack Sparrow, of cheating, and he responded that you have to remember that there's two things that a man will do: what he can and what he can't. Like the two things you have to remember is a man will do what he can in order to win something.
Okay.
So, like, the logic I approach that with is, I think a lot of women expect that if I'm a guy that is better off than some of the other guys you're talking to, like if I'm more educated or whatever, right? That I'm automatically going to come at a higher level than everybody else if you don't require everybody to step up to this level. But that only somehow makes sense in relationship logic. Because that's the same as saying that if you went to buy a car and they told you the car was $5,000 because you have 10, you're not going to pay the guy 10 grand. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, you don't overpay for anything else in life on purpose. Like,
that was like some real logic you just dropped.
So, like, why would I overpay for you if you're making everybody else meet you down here? And I can see that they're meeting you down here. Who gives a shit if I could come in all the way up here? Like, I don't have to.
If you will accept this, if you,
or if you're accepting down here, and I could come up right here, just a smidgen above, even if I could deliver all the way at the top, like, I don't have to. Right. And I think that's the thing. And like, I realize
you got that.
I realize in some stuff, like, it might sometimes be like a self-esteem thing, because like I have talked to some girls, and I have some female friends that, well, I wouldn't say you, Like, I have some female friends that I'm just legitimately friends with, but I don't know anyone you've ever dated. Like, I don't think I've paid that much attention, unfortunately.
Okay.
Where I've seen them date some people, and I'm like, why would you choose to date him? Like, I think, to me, I'm very intrigued, and even outside.
Because I think, honestly, because we went to college together.
Yeah.
I've only bought one guy on campus.
But what I like,
That was like freshman year.
what I find interesting, and I think it's more than just a woman thing, it's like a black person thing. I find it very interesting as to what black people view as success. Like, now that I'm working a different job, and like a lot of the people I work with are ex-NYU, Columbia, Duke graduates, like those really top end schools. Like, what they view as success and what some of the people I went to college with viewed as success are two very different things.
Now, black people from both types
Yes.
of establishments, or like
Well,
white people and black people?
well, white people. There's some black
white people from, now you're saying white people from like more Ivy Leagues versus black people from just regular ass good schools.
And I've seen some black people who have come out of NYU, but they don't settle for certain things. Like, and it's not even in terms of like settling for work. Like, what they deem as success and what we deem as success seems weird. Like, I had a conversation with someone and said to them that at some point in my time in my life, I intend to own 2 houses and a boat. Now, I'm kind of backtracking on the boat thing, because from talking to people who actually own boats, they said the fuel is expensive and all this other bullshit. But part of my dream is to legitimately have a house in New York and a house in Florida and a boat. Right? If I had unlimited
in New
money.
York, or would it be in Florida?
In Florida.
Okay.
And I remember I was saying that to someone, and they told me to be realistic. I don't
Why
see
is that
what is
not
like,
realistic?
but that is part of, and I think all of that kind of fits into the dating thing, because like, I've heard people refer to certain dudes as catches, and I'm like, they're not really that amazing. Like, the stuff that you're calling out as amazing is not amazing. It's okay and it's good. But I think we, as like guys and girls, have to like reassess like the quality of like what we consider success. Because like we aim down here, and then we complain when we come in lower.
Right, you kind of like, how can I say, you make a big deal out of something that doesn't necessarily need to be a big deal. It's like, oh, he's got his own car. Well, he's 30. Like, what's so great about having your own car at 30? Like,